Hey, welcome back everyone to another Alliance War video. This is war number 6 of season 26, the halfway point, and Poseidon is going up against SpBa, or Space Bastards, and these guys are a pretty stacked alliance. These guys are way above us in terms of alliance prestige, so we were expecting a lot of tough defenders this war, and that's definitely what we got. A lot of 6 stars, a lot of rank 3 6 stars in particular, so let's scout the path here. We're bringing Human Torch, Dr. Doom, Black Widow Claire Voyant, and we're going path 6 in section 1. So we're taking on Terrax, Black Widow Claire Voyant, and then in section 2 we're going to head back to path 4 where we have that Stealth Suit Spidey and Silver Surfer. All 6 stars, all look like they're at rank 3, I believe. And then we'll take a look at their boss, Apocalypse, MODOK, Kingpin. The Mojo placement is odd. Hyperion, Dragon Man, pretty common there. Okay, not too terrible. The defense doesn't look completely awful, but this fight definitely had me scared going into Terrax here. He's a 6 star at rank 3. He's awakened, so he's going to be starting with some power. He's only SIG 67, but still, he's going to start the fight in that rock field with like a bar and a half. So this is why we brought in Black Widow Claire Voyant right here. But yeah, I was terrified of this fight. It's the Aggression Fury node and the Strike Back node. So this is pretty good placement, honestly, because you really don't want to stay close and hit into Terrax when he's in his rock field, because you take so much energy damage. But you can't leave him alone either, because then his Furies start stacking up and can get out of control like crazy. So it's just kind of like pick your poison. Either let him hit you extremely hard with a lot of Furies, or take some energy damage from that rock field. So you can see all the damage we're taking. We're able to recover some of it with the special 2 right there, but yeah, the Furies are stacking every second or whatever it is. So we do have to hit him in this rock field, and look at all the damage we're taking from it. There's just no real way to get around it, unfortunately. Not with Black Widow Claire Voyant anyway. So we're down to 70% already, and he's at like 65, so we're pretty close on health. We're almost identical at this point. So about a minute in, I was a little worried, and for appropriate reasons, I'd say. This is tough placement. He's a really tough defender, especially right here. So he entered his rock field again, and we're just going to be taking so much damage. We're going to throw the special 3 here, and fortunately this hits really hard. And it's not going to trigger the protection, which is something else I was really worried about, because if I triggered that protection from the global, I would have to go for an intercept, and just adds an extra layer of complication to this fight. So you can see we're basically sticking to this like 1 or 2 hit strategy to keep the Furies at bay, and so we don't spend too much time inside the rock field and takes all this damage. But we got 10 armor breaks on us, so we are like really exposed to all that damage right now. And this was really scary, because now we're in Assassin's range, and if he's running Assassin's Mastery, there's a chance for my parries to fail. So yeah, we got out of the fight in 2 minutes and 70 hits, but we barely make it out. We finished with like 18-20% of our health, and we didn't even take a hit. So we get that full attack bonus, but man, that was a very stressful fight. And I was worried for good reason, clearly. And so very tough. But I'm glad we got out of it without losing an attack bonus. That is our last Black Widow Claire Voyant fight, so we don't need her again, so we don't have to put any potions into her. But we actually are going to face off against a Black Widow Claire Voyant next on the Power Focus 1 Power Alternator node. And she's another SIG, or a 6 star at rank 3, awakened, so she's a beefy defender. And this is almost a low-key Human Torch trap, actually. And I kind of realized this after going in, because she's going to be throwing a ton of special 1s because of that Power Focus 1. And unfortunately, it applies those bleed debuffs right there, even if you evade it, which I did. And Human Torch, one of his downsides as a champion is whenever he's bleeding, his incinerates fall off insanely quick. So you can see we have 0 incinerates on her at this point, because they've just all fallen off because we were bleeding. And again, she gets us right there, and then she parries us because I was a little slow punishing the special. So we take a hit, and yeah, just not ideal. Power Alternator actually stole our power there and gave it to her. She got us bleeding again with that heavy attack and another heavy attack, so we're bleeding. The incinerates are falling off, but Eventually, we do get her down, and we get the full attack bonus, but man, not a clean fight at all. These first two fights were really tough for Section 1 fights. That's probably the two toughest fights I've had this season in Section 1. So I think I brought the right counters for both of them, but the placement was pretty good, and it kind of made the counters not as good as they usually are, I'd say. So bravo to Space Bastards. I like that placement a lot for defense. And we're going to move into Section 2, and we've got this Stealth Suit Spidey. He's on the Spry, steady build-up, unblockable node. He's another 6-star at rank 3 and awakened, so like I said, really stacked defense this time. We were always running these big 3 boosts for all of our fights this war. I just didn't show them before, but this is going to be a pretty standard Dr. Doom fight. I've taken Stealth Suit Spidey several times this season. I've used Magneto a few times, but Dr. Doom works really well as well. The fight's just going to last a little bit longer with Dr. Doom than Magneto. But that's just because I'm never trying to trigger that evade. I just would rather be cautious, and even though after his evade disappears, it doesn't come back for a pretty long time, I would just really rather not deal with it at all, just because he has that weird double hit medium, and the timing and the spacing on it is a little different than a normal champion. And you can only parry him when he comes at you from a far distance with the medium attacks. So yeah, we're just gonna play this pretty safe. We're gonna only hit him while he's stunned, so he can't evade us. We're gonna get some incinerate damage from the special 2s. We're obviously gonna be using the special 1 to keep his power under control. But I started missing a few parries here and there, and it kind of started messing with me a little bit. I was starting to get a little bit concerned that I wasn't playing that well. So, you know, I take a little more block damage in this fight than I probably needed to be honest. But again, like Dr. Doom, so safe, such a great Alliance War champion. He's just the meta right now for so much. He's just the absolute biggest beast in the game. So he can basically get you through almost any fight, unless it's against the Human Torch for the most part, I think. He just does so much between his nullifies, the Doom cycle he can inflict, the shocks, the incinerates, the passive stun. He just does so much so well. So he's going to get us through this fight, but you can see it's not like a perfect fight by any means. Finally, we take him down. It took about a minute and a half. Not terrible, not great, but again, like, the full attack bonus is all that matters. It's all that's going to be seen. It's all that's going to affect the outcome of the war, so we're all good. So we're going to move on to our last fight in Section 2, which is against the Silver Surfer. So again, this is pretty much one of the most standard Dr. Doom fights there is. He's a 6-star, rank 3, another beefy defender, but I've taken Silver Surfer so many times this season and last season with Dr. Doom here. I mean, the placement's not bad. It's definitely one of the better places for a Silver Surfer defender if he's going to do anything and give anyone trouble, because he applies those armor breaks through the heavies. But, you know, and then he'll go unblockable, but Dr. Doom is armor break immune, and so there's really no danger in this fight at all. The only thing you really have to keep in mind is that Silver Surfer doesn't take any damage from incinerates, so you really don't want to be throwing off that special 2. You just want to get into the full Doom cycle and absolutely wreck him after that. So that's what we're going to do, and it's pretty fail-safe, I would say. There's almost no way to mess this up. We're just going to go ahead and dex that special 1. We're going to steal some power. We're going to get to our special 3 as fast as we can. We're going to wait to get him to as close to 2 bars of power as possible, so we're not going to throw it yet. We're going to heavy counter that heavy right there. Smack him down. And now we can throw the special 3, and with him at 2+ bars of power, we can just recycle this until he's dead. So really not a lot to talk about at this point. Anyone who knows Dr. Doom's cycle knows it's over. Medium, medium, light, 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 medium, medium, into a special 1, steal those 3 bars of power. Don't let him throw a special. Go in for a 5-hit combo to end with the heavy. And you're back to the same thing, 3 bars of power, he's at 2 or more, and you just get him into this vicious cycle, which absolutely crushes him. So pretty straightforward right here. I think we're going to end this fight with a special 2, actually, after this Doom cycle, so we're not going to get into it again, and the incinerates aren't even going to be needed. The special 2 is going to hit hard enough that it's going to take him down. So yeah, we finish all 4 of our fights. We get all the full attack bonuses. Some of the fights were not pretty, but we get the job done. So yeah, I felt good about that. That's going to move us on to the mini bosses now. And we do actually have one mini boss fight this war. So we are going to head left here and take on this Mojo. And this is just really odd placement. I don't really get it. He's another 6-star at rank 3, of course. And again, really tough defense. Space Bastards obviously has a lot of really tough defenders, a lot of really good attackers, I'm sure, as well. But this is the Hurt Locker, Power Focus 1, Enhanced Special 1, Power Drain node, and I don't know. I mean, I took Dexterity off for this fight just to avoid a ton of power gain from Mojo, even though the Power Focus 1 really doesn't make that a concern. I decided to take it off just to be extra safe. I guess maybe that's the point of putting him here, actually, because if you remove that Dexterity, his Special 1, which will be unblockable on the first hit, is actually a little bit tricky to get out of the way of for that first hit sometimes. So you can see that I am actually going to get hit in this fight, and it just kind of goes in line with how the rest of this war has been going, that it was not a perfect fight by any means. I definitely made my mistake. Fortunately, it didn't cost me, and it hasn't costed me a death or an attack bonus loss this war, but there it is, right there. His first hit was unblockable of the Special 1, and I was backing up, but I just didn't time the swipe back correctly, I guess. So I took a little bit of a hit. His Special 1 really doesn't do anything. We're just going to throw our Special 1 off here, and he melts away in 30 seconds, and that's even with taking a Special to the face. So relatively easy fight. We get him down, the full attack bonus is achieved, no problem. Human Torch did a great job there, but that will finish our war, actually, and we're going to show you the battle group comparison. We finished our battle group, we cleared the map, but we died 8 times, which is a lot for us. So they haven't cleared their battle group yet, but they've only got 4 fights left at this point, and they've only died 4 times. I believe they did clear the map without dying again, so we lost our battle group head-to-head. Definitely not a great war for BG3, and that contributed to our loss. So Space Bastards played really well. They only died 11 times. Big credit to them. We died 14 times as an alliance, which is kind of on average. I'd say that's not horrible, but the fact that 8 of those came from BG3 kind of puts that on us. So that's really tough for our battle group, but Space Bastards, again, ton of credit to them. 11 deaths, very good. You got to respect their alliance. So this is something kind of new I started doing. We're halfway through the season. I decided to track my attackers, and you can see there's a pretty solid theme here among my top 2. Human Torch, Dr. Doom, both 10-0 this season. I obviously bring them in the most. I brought Magneto in twice. He's won 4 fights. A few single fights from these guys, Falcon, Black Widow, Claire Voyant, Colossus, and of course my 1 death this season so far with Archangel. So just a little breakdown of the champions that I've used so far at this point halfway through the season, and I'll update this again at the end of the season to kind of do a total look at my attackers and how they all performed. But I appreciate the view, and I hope you liked it. So if you did, please drop me a like, drop a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next war. See ya.